Welcome into the Selfish Conversation. This is a series where we are disrupting the idea that everyone but you comes first. My belief is that if you are not taking care of yourself, you cannot take care of others. It's a journey that I'm on, and I'm sure many of you are on as well. In this video, we are talking about identity crisis. As many of you guys know, last week I published an amazing interview with Shawna where she was very vulnerable about her identity crisis. We're going to talk about roles and identity and dig into what that looks like on this selfish journey. First though, I want you to check out this clip.
I'm 49 years old and I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am.
Yeah.
I've had to fill all these roles.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know who I am. I had to take this personality trait on.
Right.
Because of my childhood, and I had to take this personality trait on. You know, and now you're looking at yourself going,
I don't even know.
Who am I?
Right. Man, that was so powerful. Shawna was absolutely vulnerable about her identity crisis and how a lot of us define who we are based on our roles. And this has been such a pivotal conversation for me because I was that very person. Granted, of course, I'm still getting to know who I am. I'm not saying that I'm not, but what I am saying is that I put so much emphasis on who I was as a career-oriented woman that everything else took the back burner. And that affected my friendships, my day-to-day life, and dictating the things that I love to do, that I thought I loved to do, and what I liked and what I didn't like. And it wasn't until I was challenged to be uncomfortable that I found out that I'm more than just a career-oriented person, and I'm more than just working and having these accolades and things of that nature. And so this conversation is so important to me. And there are a lot of things that I've learned, and I want to share what those are. There are 3 reasons why it is so important to take time to realize who you are, who we are outside of our roles. Number 1, it impacts your path to happiness. Number 2, the very choices that you're making right now could be predicated upon the role that you're taking on versus what your heart actually wants. And number 3, last but not least, knowing who you are outside of your roles will widen your life experiences. Let's dig in. Your happiness and peace is your priority. It is so important to have a foundation of happiness and peace in order for you to thrive and not just survive. And I know that we hear that a lot and it's a very, cliche, but it is so true. There are so many of us that are just surviving and not thriving, including myself. And so this is a topic that I'm constantly thinking about week to week on how to better serve my happiness and my peace. Now, granted, I don't want to get this topic too confused. I do believe that sometimes you make sacrifices for your peace and your happiness for the betterment of a situation. But I'm talking about those points, those situations where you have to pick yourself in order for you to maintain mental and spiritual clarity. All right, so number 2 is choice. It is important for you to know yourself outside of your roles because your choices dictate how much of your life you're living. And that is a lot to take in. Choice determines how your life unfolds. If you are not living a life that you love or even partially love, it's because you're making choices that are not serving you. They're serving others. Number 3, it is so important for you to know yourself outside of your roles because your life experiences will widen so much. I cannot tell you guys when I decided to not think of myself as just a career woman, I started to bring in experiences that I have never had before. And if I was still thinking of myself as just a career woman, I would just be doing career oriented things in my life. I started to look around me more when I opened myself up to being a pet parent. For instance, I have a cute little rabbit now. I never saw myself as a pet parent. And I know that's a really small way to think of this very big topic, but that's essentially like what this really means to me. I realize that if I don't change how I think about myself out of my roles, I limit myself of having different great life experiences, and life experiences shape what our beliefs are, what our values are. And I feel like we have such a greater respect for life when we are more experienced to it. And so I want to encourage you guys to know more of who you are outside of your roles because of the experiences that are awaiting you. I don't want to keep this conversation just to myself. I really want you guys to engage. Leave a comment below if you have been in a situation where you're only identifying as one particular person because of the role that you're fitting into. And even if you have some advice on how you've come out of that, headspace and that idea, I want you guys to share, because I think it's an amazing conversation to have, especially if you're on a selfish journey like I am. Other than that, you guys, thank you so much for staying tuned with the Selfish Conversation. And we are disrupting. We are disrupting a lot of things in this show, in this series. So stay tuned. There's so many other things to explore. Until next time, keep it selfish.